So let's now talk about actual editing. Let's now actually start doing editing, and let's start actually giving our courses a looks of a courses. And first thing that we will need to do is, of course, to choose our video editing software. So in my case, and what I suggest you to do as well, you need to go with something more robust and something more big, so it would not be a hindrance in the future for you, because the smaller video editing software like Camtasia or even ScreenFlow and things like that, they are becoming outdated for your capabilities pretty quick. So for that reason, I suggest you to start with something more robust and something more powerful, and Davinci Resolve will be the best choice for you. It is a Davinci Resolve 17, it's at version 17 at the moment of the recording. For the future, it might be a bit different for you, and it is one of the best 3 video editing softwares on the market, like the best, period. I'm not saying the best for the beginners, best for someone, best for creators. No, I mean the best video editing software. Entire movies are being edited in the software like that. And in the case of Davinci Resolve, it has the most powerful color grading capabilities in industry, period. And the best thing about Davinci Resolve 17, that it is actually free. Yes, you can get Davinci Resolve for absolutely free. There is also a version called Davinci Resolve Studio, which costs almost $300 for course creation. Trust me, you will not use it. Plus, Davinci Resolve regular one, non-studio version, contains probably 95% of capabilities of what Studio can do, so you actually don't need that. So yeah, free Davinci Resolve is all that you need to start. All you need to do is just press right here, download it, and well, you can actually start editing. So when you open Davinci Resolve, this is the window that you will be greeted with. And yeah, it's actually a bit different. It will be a bit different for you because yeah, I already have an actual project for this course already up and running. Because yeah, this is actually second attempt to record this lecture, because during the first attempt, my microphone turned out unexpectedly. But yeah, I already created this project file. But don't worry, I'm going to show you how we can do this from absolutely from scratch and explain what everything is happening. So basically, the first window that you will see in Davinci Resolve when you're going to open it is basically a projects window. This is where you choose your projects, and basically this is where you create your project. So in this case, let's open our new project. If you already have a project created, you're going to just select your project and create open. Press open or just double click right here. That's all that you need. But in our case, we're going to create a new project. We're going to call this a test project, because yeah, the actual course project is already up and running. We're going to press create, and boom, you are being greeted with a full version of Davinci Resolve. My face is actually covering some parts, but at the moment it's not that essential. Don't worry, it will not be that big of a deal, and plus I will show you if I'm covering something important. When you open Davinci Resolve, it might be a bit overwhelming at first to see whatever is happening right in front of your face, and it's purely understandable. Davinci Resolve is not easy software to master, but it's pretty simple if you know the principles on what is actually built on. So first thing that you will need to realize is that Davinci Resolve is working on a tabs, or rather workspaces menu, meaning that what you will see right now is actually one of the workspaces, and each workspace has their own workflow and their own function. So let's just cover all the workspaces. So all of the workspaces are actually down right here. There is 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, and 7 workspaces, each one of them with its own dedicated function. In this case, it opened with a cut page, but let's start with the very beginning, and the first one is actually a media page. In an essence, media page is basically allowing you to drop a bunch of footage, bunch of clips, and preview which one you want to use basically for your project. And it's the simplest explanation there is. It is very useful if you have a very large projects like movies, for example. But for courses, it's not very useful, and for online video, it's usually not that useful. And the majority of the capabilities is actually available on other pages. So I don't use this, and we won't be using this for the course as well. Next is the cut page. Cut page is, well, a bit more useful, but still the thing that I'm actually not using. Cut page is actually allowing you to basically cut your clips into multiple parts for you to be easily editable. Now, this is basically the same thing that is available for the smaller softwares, like for Camtasia software like that. This is basically a dumbed down version of Davinci Resolve, with everything that you probably won't be using as a beginner video editor are completely cut out. This is what this page actually is. Very useful for the beginners. However, I still do not suggest you to learn from it, because yeah, again, the features that are available right here are available on other tabs as well that you will be using more. Next is, and the more important one, is edit page. An edit page where you will spend probably 95% of entirety of your video editing, and this is where you will be spending everything right here. You have a preview window right here, you have all the effects and things like that right here, you have on the left all the clips, you have on the very left you have all the folders. This is where you're gonna put all the folders, and down you have your entire timeline, including your master audio slider and everything that you will need. You have effects library right here, you have editing index, you have sound library, everything is available right here. This is the part that we will be using the most of the time, and this is what we will learn. This is the part that you should spend 95% of your time. Next is the Fusion, which is probably the most complicated part of Davinci Resolve, and we'll be doing some editing here as well. And Fusion is some kind of motion graphics editor. It's basically, for the ones who understand Adobe software, it's basically an alternative to After Effects, which is built in Davinci Resolve software directly, and which is absolutely free. It's just insane how great it is to have software like that within the actual video editor. The problem is that it's actually far more complicated than After Effects, and it is a bit more difficult to understand, but don't worry, I'm going to be explaining everything, well, basically at least basics, in the future lectures as well. Next is color tab. You're going to press red color, and here you can actually color correct your videos to make it look a bit more natural. We won't be using this a lot, we'll be using only for some lectures, but yeah, with this tab you can actually make your videos much more beautiful. Next is Fairlights tab, which is one before the last one, and this is where you will edit your audio. So basically, if you want to use your EQs, your sound effects and things like that, this is where you will be doing all of this right here. Again, we're gonna be using this a bit as well in the future, and the majority of the parts I'm actually covering, the important part I'm actually covering with my face, but don't worry, when the time will come I'm not going to be covering this. But yeah, this is where you will be editing your audio. And last but not least is the last tab, which is called Deliver tab, and this is where basically you export your video. So now this is a short explanation. You know what, open the Davinci Resolve, play around, look around and see whatever is happening. But in our case, we're just gonna go straight to the point, and let's move on to actually, well, using the Davinci Resolve right in this lecture. So what we need right here is we'll actually need to cut our video a bit more. So in the previous lecture we did auto cutting and cut out all the silent parts, but now we'll need to cut out all the mistakes. But first thing that we'll need to do is we'll need to actually collect the footage and create the timeline. So first thing that we'll do is we're gonna actually import the timelines right here. So first thing that we'll need to do is actually import some clips right here, and all we need to do is just right click right here and select import media. In my case, I actually set up the hotkey. In my case, you just press I. Let's open one of these lectures, one of the first lectures. But right now, what I'm not going to be doing is I'm not going to be doing an organization. I'm going to show you how we can actually organize at the end of this lecture. But yeah, this is the first thing that we'll do. And what we'll do is we'll actually create the bin for this. Basically, bin is the folder. This is actually lecture number 2, I think. And you know what, let's actually put it number 2 and put the lecture within it. And now what we'll do is actually we're gonna create a timeline. So in our case, we'll need to create a timeline with already cut out silences. So we're gonna select timelines, import, and this one AAF, EDL, XML, etc, etc. For me it's Shift Control I shortcut, but I'm just gonna show you how we can find it yourself. Press this one. And because I have a very organized footage from the previous lectures, I know exactly where to find this. And I'm going to double click this one. It will import an actual timeline. I'm going to give it a name. In this case, let's go give it name 2 because it's a lecture number 2. Usually I do it fully, but I'm just going to skip it for now. I'm gonna press OK. Now it will ask me where are the videos actually located. So in my case, I know that it's located in folder number 2, not in the master folder, but in folder number 2. I'm gonna press OK, and now it actually imported the entire clip right here. The issue in this case is that sometimes Tumbled EDL files are making some mistakes, and as you can see, there is no audio. All you need to do is just Command A to just select everything, or Control A if you are on a Windows, and press delete, and then Control Z, and it will just appear, everything will appear. And what you'll need to do right now is you need to go through entirety of the video and delete the parts that you don't need. So if you want to play a video, all you need to do is just press space, and it will just start running. Or just press this button right here. This is a play button right here, and make sure that you are on select tool. This is actually a select tool right here. There is also a trim edit mode tool, and there is also dynamic trim tool, and there is also blade tool. So if you will find something, if you will find some mistakes that is between the cuts, that is actually you will actually need to cut the beginning and the end. Like for example, if you want to cut everything that is before that, all you need to do is select this one right here, this razor right here, select it, and now as you can see, it's transformed into razor, and just select the part that you want to cut out, make a cut, and now let's get back to this one. And if you meet the pinhead, as you can see, there is a cut. And all you need to do to delete this one is select this and press delete, right? No, it's wrong. If you delete this, as you can see, if you delete this, it leaves an empty part. And when you start playing it, it actually plays this dark part. You don't need this dark part to be played. You need this to disappear. And don't worry about just Z disappearing. I actually remapped the key. Instead of Control Z, I just press Z to go back. Don't worry that for you it will be Control Z to go back or Command Z to go back. Now, if I want to delete this, I also want everything that is on the right of this clip to move to the left. And in my case, all I need to do is just select this one and press Shift Delete. And now everything just moved right there, and there is nothing left of the old clip. That's all you need to do. Now, go through everything. If you find something that needs to be cut out, let's say, I don't know, let's say this clip, I'm not sure if this needs to cut out or not. Select it with your mouse, make sure that you have this one selected. And if you want this clip to be gone entirely, or maybe you want only this part to be gone entirely. In my case, I just select this one and make a cut right here. For me, actually, the cut, I have remapped the cut. It's just button D for me. But yeah, for you, you can just use the mouse if you want. If you are not used to shortcuts, by the way, I suggest you start learning shortcuts as well. And if you want to delete this, just make sure it's selected. Make sure it's a select tool and Shift Delete. And it will just snap to the beginning of the clip. Go through entirety of this clip like that. Go through it all and delete the part that you don't need. That's basically it is. That's basically what you need to do. And make sure that you will do it for all the videos, and I will show you how to look like for all the videos. Your end product should look something like that. As you can see, I have folders for all of the clips, including the intros and outros. And by intro and outro, I mean the intros and outros of the lectures itself, not of the course, but that we're going to cover a bit later. And every single one of those things, except for the ones that I have not recorded, for example, these two I haven't recorded just yet, contains the timeline and the video itself. And as you can see, there are all the timelines right here. If you don't see the timelines on the topic, you can go and select all the lectures that you want. If you don't see the timelines right here, make sure to select this button right here, select this one, and make sure that it is on just like that. Like if you don't have this one on, you will not see the timeline. You will need all of those to be on to see exactly the same way that I do. And if you want your computer to be able to not freeze when you're running Davinci Resolve, make sure that this one is not selected. If you have this one, as you can see, every single part, no matter how much you will zoom in, every single part of the timeline will contain a frame from the clip. This actually heats up your computer quite a lot, and you don't want this to happen. All you need to do is select this one, and it will just select the first frame and the last frame, and it will make your timeline much smoother. Do that for all of the clips, and when you're done, well, we can move on into more advanced editing, and I'm gonna see you in the next lecture. See you there.